We're back.
First stage manager I ever saw that could count up to 10. I thought you did that very well.
Yeah. He can do it backwards and forwards.
Yes, I imagine he could.
It's the tone of your voice that does something, the things you say. Did you say the song they were playing was from Animal Crackers or from...
Some Horse Feathers.
Horse Feathers.
Carmen Rudy wrote that. I understand there's quite a renaissance of the Marx Brothers movie around the country now.
They're on...
I do have to tell you before you interrupt that the Marx Brothers play is being written by my son and his partner who had a show on Broadway last year.
Arthur.
What was the name of the show? Do you remember?
No.
I don't remember. It was about kids and the younger generation and the different generations. But it's going to be played not by us. It's going to be played by kids around, like the Charlie Brown show. You know, kids of 14, 16, 17. It goes up to the age of about 18, the Marx Brothers.
Were you tough kids?
Was I tough?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't tough, but I was thrifty. I remember we lived in 93rd Street, and there was a very tough kid lived around there. I never told you this.
No.
And I bought 4 balls. These are not oddballs. They used to call them all-day suckers.
Oh, yeah.
Those people now go to the racetrack, but in those days, they were made of candy. But you know, you could suck one of these for 3 hours, and it never got any smaller. And I used to buy 4 for a cent, and I had one in my mouth, and it kind of bulged out here a little bit. And one of these tough guys came along. It was in the winter, and it was snowing hard. And I had 3 of these balls in my hat. In case somebody asked me for one, I would say, well, I don't have any more. But I had 3 in my hat. And this one guy didn't believe me, and he come up and he says, give me one of those those balls, those suckers that you're sucking on there. I said, I haven't got any more. And he hauled off, and he hit me on the chin. And I was out in the snow for 30 minutes, cold. You know, I could have been killed. And after that, whenever anybody asked me for an all-day sucker, I would take off my hat and hand it to him. It's a true
There's
story.
a lesson
It's
in that,
rather sad, but it's very revealing about how poor and how thrifty I was in those days. It was either that or starved to death.
Is it true you stole a printing press at the age of 10, or is that just a biographical?
No, this is true. When I was about 10 years old, I wanted to be a writer, and I had nothing to write with. I had a lead pencil, but I wanted a printing press. Now, they had them on sale at Bloomingdale's for $1.98. They were about this size, and they had letters in it. You know, you'd pick out letter H, G, whatever letter you wanted. And I stuck it under my coat. And the floor walker came along, and he saw a peculiar bulge. And he says, what do you got under there? And I said, nothing. He says, he reached in and pulled out this printing press, and a cop came over and arrested me. And old man Bloomingdale came along around this time, and he says, what are you doing there? What's the policeman for? I says, well, this kid stole a printing press. I said, let him go. All the kids steal in this neighborhood. Let him go. And they did. They let me go, but they didn't give me the printing press. But you know, some years later, one of the Bloomingdale family had a play opening in Philadelphia, and it was a real stinker. And George Kaufman, who was known as the architect of the theater at that time, he was invited by the Bloomingdale Sun to come down to Philadelphia and look at the show and see if he had any suggestions for fixing it. And after the show was over and the curtain was down, Bloomingdale came down in the audience where Kaufman was sitting. He says, George, what about the show? What should we do about it? He says, I'll tell you what you do. He says, close the show and keep the store open at nights.